Hello. Good evening, good day for some. Welcome to our live stream reading of the book of Enoch. So we're getting through, and I'll pick up at Enoch 75. And good evening. Hi, Victoria and Sean. If you're joining on Facebook, thank you and welcome. Hello, Tina. Let me know before I go on, is the sound level good? I'll wait to hear from one of you before I start. I'm picking up at Enoch 75. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, Carrie. Thanks, Sean. Hey, Victoria. Okay. Enoch 75. And the first quarter is called the East because it is the first, and the second, the South, because the Most High will descend there. Yea, there in quite a special sense will he who is blessed forever descend. And the west quarter is named the diminished, because there are all the luminaries of the heaven wane and go down. And the fourth quarter, named the north, is divided into 3 parts. The first of them is for the dwelling of men, and the second contains seas of water, and the abysses, and forests, and rivers, and darkness, and clouds. And the third part contains the garden of righteousness. And I saw 7 high mountains, higher than all the mountains which are on the earth. And thence comes forth hoarfrost, and days, seasons, and years passed away. I saw 7 rivers on the earth, larger than all the rivers. One of them coming from the west pours its waters into the great sea. And these two come from the north to the sea and pour their waters into the Erythraean Sea in the east. And the remaining four come forth on the side of the north to their own sea. Two of them to the Erythraean Sea, and two into the great sea, and discharge themselves there, and some say into the desert. 7 great islands I saw in the sea and in the mainland, 2 in the mainland and 5 in the great sea. The sun and moon, the waxing and waning of the moon. And the names of the sun are the following: the first, Orjares; the second, Tomas. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asonja, the second, Elbla or Ibla, the third, Benese, and the fourth, Ere. These are the 2 luminaries. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. In the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light, which are added to it more than to the moon. And in definite measures, it is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portals of the west, and make their revolution by the north, and come forth through the eastern portals on the face of the heaven. And when the moon rises, 1/14 part appears in the heaven. The light becomes full in her. On the 14th day, she accomplishes her light. And 15 parts of light are transferred to her till the 15th day, when her light is accomplished, according to the sign of the year, and she becomes 15 parts, and the moon grows by the addition of 14th parts. And in her waning, the moon decreases on the first day to 14 parts of her light. On the second, to 13 parts of light. On the third, to 12. On the fourth, to 11. On the fifth, to 10. On the sixth, to 9. On the seventh, to 8. On the eighth, to 7. On the ninth, to 6. On the 10th, to 5. On the 11th, to 4. On the 12th, to 3. On the 13th, to 2. On the 14th, to the half of the 7th. And all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. And in certain months, the month has 29 days, and once 28. And Uriel showed me another law. When light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred to her by the sun. During all the period during which the moon is growing in her light, she is transferring it to herself. When opposite to the sun during 14 days, her light is accomplished in the heaven. And when she is illumined throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven. And on the first day, she is called the new moon. For on that day, the light rises upon her. She becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west. And from the east, she rises at night. And the moon shines the whole night through till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun. On the side whence the light of the moon comes forth, there again she wanes till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at an end, and her circumference is empty, void of light. And 3 months she makes of 30 days. And at her time, she makes 3 months of 29 days each, in which she accomplishes her waning in the first period of time. And in the first portal for 177 days. And in the time of her going out, she appears for 3 months of 30 days each. And for 3 months, she appears of 29 each. At night, she appears like a man for 20 days each time. And by day, she appears like And now, my son, I have shown thee everything, and the law of all the stars of the heaven is completed. And he showed me all the laws of these for every day, and for every season of bearing rule, and for every year, and for its going forth, and for the order prescribed to it every month and every week, and the waning of the moon, which takes place in the 6th portal. For in this 6th portal, her light is accomplished. And after that, there is the beginning of the waning. And the waning, which takes place in the 1st portal in its season, till 177 days are accomplished, reckoned according to weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days. She falls behind the sun and the order of the stars exactly 5 days in the course of one period. And when this place which thou seest has been traversed, Such is the picture and sketch of every luminary which Uriel the archangel, who is their leader, showed unto me. And in those days the angel Uriel answered and said to me, Behold, I have shown thee everything, Enoch, and I have revealed everything to thee that thou shouldest see, this sun and this moon, and the leaders of the stars of the heaven, and all those who turn them, their tasks and times and departures. Verse 2 through 8, perversion of nature and the heavenly bodies, owning to the sin of men. And in the days of the sinners, the years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on their lands and fields, and all things on the earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time, and the rain shall be kept back, and the heaven shall withhold it. And in those times the fruits of the earth shall be backward, and shall not grow in their time. And the fruits of the trees shall be withheld in their time. And the moon shall alter her order, and not appear at her time. And in those days the sun shall be seen, and he shall journey in the evening on the extremity of the great chariot in the west, and shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light. And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress the order prescribed, and these shall alter their orbits and tasks, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, and the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, and they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take to them gods, to be gods. And wait, let me repeat that. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. And he said unto me, Observe, Enoch, these heavenly tables, and read what is written thereon, and mark every individual fact. And I observed the heavenly tables, and read everything which was written thereon, and understood everything, and read the book of all the deeds of mankind, and of all the children of flesh that shall be upon the earth, to the remotest generations. And forthwith I blessed the great Lord, the King of glory forever, in that he has made all the works of the world. And I extolled Jah because of his patience, and blessed him because of the children of men. And after that I said, Blessed is the man who dies in righteousness and goodness, concerning whom there is no book of unrighteousness written, and against whom no day of judgment shall be found. And those 7 holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the door of my house, and said to me, declare everything to thy son Methuselah, and show to all thy children that no flesh is righteous in the sight of Jah, for he is their creator. 1 year we will leave thee with thy son, till thou givest thy commands, that thou mayest teach thy children, and record it for them, and testify to all thy children. And in the 2nd year they shall take thee from their midst. Let thy heart be strong, for the good shall announce righteousness to the good. The righteousness with the righteous shall rejoice, and shall offer congratulations to one another. But the sinners shall die with the sinners, and the apostate go down with the apostate. And those who practice righteousness shall die on account of the deeds of men, and be taken away on account of the doings of the godless. And in those days they ceased to speak to me, and I came to my people, blessing Jah of the world. Charge given to Enoch, the 4 intercalary days, the stars which lead the seasons and the months. And now, my son Methuselah, all these things I am recounting to thee and writing down for thee, and I have revealed to thee everything, and given thee books concerning all these. So preserve, my son Methuselah, the books from thy father's hand, and see that thou deliver them to the generations of the world. I have given wisdom to thee and to thy children, and thy children shall be to thee, that they may give it to their children for generations. This wisdom, namely, that passed their thought. And those who understand it shall not sleep, but shall listen with the ear, that they may learn this wisdom. And it shall please those that eat thereof better than good food. Blessed are all the righteous. Blessed are all those who walk in the way of righteousness, and sin not as the sinners. In the reckoning of all their days in which the sun traverses the heaven, entering into and departing from the portals for 30 days, with the heads of thousands of the order of the stars, together with the 4 which are intercalated, which divide the 4 portions of the year, which lead them and enter with them 4 days. Owing to them, men shall be at fault and not reckon them in the whole reckoning of the year. Yea, men shall be at fault and not recognize them accurately. For they belong to the reckoning of the year, and are truly recorded thereon forever. 1 in the 1st portal, and 1 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 6th. And the year is completed in 364 days. and the account thereof is accurate, and the recorded reckoning thereof exact. For the luminaries and months and festivals and years and days has Uriel shown and revealed to me, to whom Jah of the whole creation of the world hath subjected the host of heaven. And he has power over night and day in the heaven, to cause the light to give light to the men, sun, moon, and stars, and all the powers of the heaven, which revolve in their circular chariots. And these are the orders of the stars, which set in their places, and in their seasons and festivals and months. And these are the names of those who lead them, who watch that they enter at their times, in their orders, in their seasons, in their months, in their periods of dominion, and in their positions. Their 4 leaders who divide the 4 parts of the year enter first. And after them, the 12 leaders of the orders who divide the months, and for the 360 days, there are heads over thousands who divide the days. And for the 4 intercalary days, there are the leaders which sunder the 4 parts of the year. And these heads over thousands are intercalated between leader and leader, each behind a station. But their leaders make the division. And these are the names of the leaders who divide the 4 parts of the year, which are ordained: Milkiel, Hel-Emelech, and Melejal, and Nerel. And the names of those who lead them: Adnarel, and Ejoshuael, and Elomiel. These 3 follow the leaders of the orders, and there is one that follows the 3 leaders of the orders, which follow those leaders of stations that divide the 4 parts of the year. In the beginning of the year, Melchijel rises first and rules, who is named Tammy Ani and son. And all the days of his dominion, whilst he bears rule, are 91 days. And these are the signs of the days which are to be seen on earth in the days of his dominion: sweat and heat and calms, and all the trees bear fruit, and the leaves are produced on all the trees, and the harvest of wheat, and the rose flowers, and all the flowers which come forth in the field. But the trees of the winter season become withered. And these are the names of the leaders which are under them: Berkiel, Zelebs-El, and another who is added, a head of 1,000, called Hilu-Joseph. And the days of the dominion of this leader are at an end. The next leader after him is Elimelech, whom one names the shining sun. And all the days of his light are 91 days. And these are the signs of his days on the earth: glowing heat and dryness. And the trees ripen their fruits and produce all their fruits ripe and ready. And the sheep pair and become pregnant. And all the fruits of the earth are gathered in. And everything that is in the fields and the winepress, these things take place in the days of his dominion. These are the names and the orders and the leaders of those heads of thousands: Gidai, Igel, Kiel, and Heel. And the name of the head of 1,000, which is added to them, Asphael. And the days of his dominion are at an end. First dream, vision on the deluge. And now, my son Methuselah, I will show thee all my visions which I have seen, recounting them before thee. 2 visions I saw before I took a wife, and the one was quite unlike the other. The first, when I was learning to write; the second, before I took thy mother, when I saw a terrible vision. And regarding them, I prayed to the Lord. I had laid me down in the house of my grandfather Mahalalel, when I saw in a vision how the heaven collapsed and was borne off and fell to the earth. And when it fell to the earth, I saw how the earth was swallowed up in a great abyss, and mountains were suspended on mountains, and hills sank down on hills, and high trees were rent from their stems, and hurled down and sunk in the abyss. And thereupon a word fell into my mouth, and I lifted up my voice to cry aloud, and said, the earth is destroyed. And my grandfather Mahalalel wake me as I lay near him, and said unto me, why dost thou cry so, my son? And why dost thou make such lamentation? And I recounted to him the whole vision which I had seen. And he said unto me, a terrible thing hast thou seen, my son, and of grave moment is thy dream vision, as to the secrets of all the sin of the earth. It must sink into the abyss and be destroyed with a great destruction. And now, my son, arise and make petition to Jah of glory, since thou art a believer, that a remnant may remain on the earth, and that he may not destroy the whole earth. My son, from heaven all this will come upon the earth, and upon the earth there will be great destruction. After that, I arose and prayed and implored and besought and wrote down my prayer for the generations of the world. And I will show everything to thee, my son Methuselah. And when I had gone forth below and seen the heaven, and the sun rising in the east, and the moon setting in the west, and a few stars, and the whole earth, and everything as he had known it in the beginning, then I blessed Jah of judgment, and extolled him, because he had made the sun to go forth from the windows of the east. And he ascended and rose on the face of the heaven, and set out and kept traversing the path shown unto him. And I lifted up my hands in righteousness, and blessed the Holy and Great One, and spake with the breath of my mouth, and with the tongue of flesh, which God has made for the children of the flesh of men, that they should speak therewith. And he gave them breath and a tongue and a mouth, that they should speak therewith. Blessed be thou, O Lord, King, great and mighty in thy greatness, Lord of the whole creation of the heaven, King of kings and God of the whole world. And thy power and kingship and greatness abide forever and ever. And throughout all generations, thy dominion and all the heavens are thy throne forever, and the whole earth thy footstool forever and ever. For thou hast made, and thou rulest all things, and nothing is too hard for thee. Wisdom departs not from the place of thy throne, nor turns away from thy presence. And thou knowest and seest and hearest everything. And there is nothing hidden from thee, for thou seest everything. And now the angels of thy heavens are guilty of trespass. And upon the flesh of men abideth thy wrath until the great day of judgment. And now, O God, and Lord, and great King, I implore and beseech thee to fulfill my prayer, to leave me a posterity on earth, and not destroy all the flesh of man, and make the earth without inhabitant, so that there should be an eternal destruction. And now, my Lord, destroy from the earth the flesh which has aroused thy wrath, but the flesh of righteousness and uprightness establish as a plant of the eternal seed, and hide not thy face from the prayer of thy servant, O Lord. And after this I saw another dream, and I will show the whole dream to thee, my son. And Enoch lifted up his voice and spake to his son Methuselah. To thee, my son, will I speak. Hear my words. Incline thy ear to the dream vision of thy father. Before I took thy mother Edna I saw in a vision on my bed, and behold, a bull came forth from the earth, and that bull was white. And after it came forth a heifer, and along with this latter came forth two bulls, one of them black and the other red. And that black bull gored the red one and pursued him over the earth. And thereupon I could no longer see that red bull. But that black bull grew, and that heifer went with him. And I saw that many oxen proceeded from him, which resembled and followed him. And that cow, the first one, went from the presence of that first bull, in order to seek that red one, but found him not, and lamented with a great lamentation over him, and sought him. And I looked till that first bull came to her and quieted her. And from that time onward, she cried no more. And after that, she bore another white bull. And after him, she bore many bulls and black cows. And I saw in my sleep that white bull likewise grow and become a great white bull. And from him proceeded many white bulls, and they resembled him. And they began to beget many white bulls, which resembled them, one following the other, even many. And again I saw with mine eyes as I slept, and I saw the heaven above, and behold, a star fell from heaven, and it arose and ate and pastured among those oxen. And after that I saw the large and the black oxen, and behold, they all changed their stalls and pastures and their cattle, and began to live with each other. And again I saw in the vision, and looked towards the heaven, and behold, I saw many stars descend and cast themselves down from heaven to that first star. And they became bulls among those cattle, and pastured with them amongst them. And I looked at them and saw, and behold, they all let out their privy members, like horses, and began to cover the cows of the oxen. And they all became pregnant, and bare elephants, camels, and asses. And all the oxen feared them, and were affrighted at them, and began to bite with their teeth, and to devour, and to gore with their horns. And they began, moreover, to devour those oxen. And behold, all the children of the earth began to tremble and quake before them, and to flee from them. And again, I saw how they began to gore at each other, and to devour each other. And the earth began to cry aloud. And I raised mine eyes again to heaven, and I saw in the vision, and behold, there came forth from heaven beings who were like white men, And 4 went forth from that place, and 3 with them. And those 3 that had last come forth grasped me by my hand and took me up, away from the generations of the earth, and raised me up to a lofty place, and showed me a tower raised high above the earth, and all the hills were lower. And one said unto me, Remain here till thou seest everything that befalls those elephants, camels, and asses, and the stars, and the oxen, and all of them. And I saw one of those 4 who had come forth first, and he seized that first star which had fallen from the heaven, and bound it hand and foot, and cast it into an abyss. Now that abyss was narrow and deep, and horrible and dark. And one of them drew a sword, and gave it to those elephants and camels and asses. Then they began to smite each other, and the whole earth quaked because of them. And I was beholding in the vision, lo, one of those 4 who had come forth stoned them from heaven, and gathered and took all the great stars, whose privy members were like those of horses, and bound them all hand and foot, and cast them into an abyss of the earth. The Deluge and the Deliverance of Noah. And one of those 4 went to that white bull and instructed him in a secret, without his being terrified. He was born a bull and became a man, and built for himself a great vessel, and dwelt thereon. And 3 bulls dwelt with him in that vessel, and they were covered in. And again I raised mine eyes towards heaven, and saw a lofty roof, with 7 water torrents thereon. And those torrents flowed with much water into an enclosure. And I saw again, and behold, fountains were opened on the surface of that great enclosure. And that water began to swell and rise upon the surface. And I saw that enclosure till all its surface was covered with water. And the water, the darkness, and mist increased upon it. And as I looked at the height of that water had risen above the height of that enclosure, and was streaming over that enclosure, and it stood upon the earth. And all the cattle of that enclosure were gathered together, until I saw how they sank and were swallowed up and perished in that water. But that vessel floated on the water, while all the oxen and elephants and camels and asses sank to the bottom with all the animals, so that I could no longer see them, and they were not able to escape, but perished and sank into the depths. And again I saw in the vision till those water torrents were removed from that high roof, and the chasms of the earth were leveled up, and other abysses were opened. Then the water began to run down into these, till the earth became visible. But that vessel settled on the earth, and the darkness retired, and light appeared. But that white bull, which had become a man, came out of that vessel, and the 3 bulls with him. And one of those 3 was white, like that bull, and one of them was red as blood, and one black. And that white bull departed from them. Verse 10 through 27, from the death of Noah to Exodus. And they began to bring forth beasts of the field and birds, so that there arose different genera: lions, tigers, wolves, dogs, hyenas, wild boars, foxes, squirrels, swine, falcons, vultures, kites, eagles, and ravens. And among them was born a white bull. And they began to bite one another. But that white bull, which was born amongst them, begat a wild ass, and a white bull with it. And the wild asses multiplied. But that bull, which was born from him, begat a black wild boar, and a white sheep. And the former begat many boars, but that sheep begat 12 sheep. And when those 12 sheep had grown, they gave up one of them to the asses, and those asses again gave up that sheep to the wolves, and that sheep grew up among the wolves. And Jah brought the 11 sheep to live with it and to pasture with it among the wolves. And they multiplied and became many flocks of sheep. And the wolves began to fear them, and they oppressed them until they destroyed their little ones. And they cast their young into a river of much water. But those sheep began to cry aloud on account of their little ones, and to complain unto their Lord. And a sheep which had been saved from the wolves fled and escaped to the wild asses. And I saw the sheep, how they lamented and cried, and besought their Lord with all their might, till that Lord of the sheep descended at the voice of the sheep from a lofty abode, and came to them and pastured them. And he called that sheep which had escaped the wolves, and spake with it concerning the wolves, that it should admonish them not to touch the sheep. And the sheep went to the wolves according to the word of Jah. And another sheep met it and went with it. And the 2 went and entered together into the assembly of those wolves, and spake with them, and admonished them not to touch the sheep from henceforth. And thereupon I saw the wolves, and how they oppressed the sheep exceedingly with all their power. And the sheep cried aloud. And Jah came to the sheep, and they began to smite those wolves, and the wolves began to make lamentation. But the sheep became quiet, and forthwith ceased to cry out. And I saw the sheep till they departed from amongst the wolves. But the eyes of the wolves were blinded, and those wolves departed in pursuit of the sheep with all their power. And Jah of the sheep went with them as their leader, and all his sheep followed him. And his face was dazzling and glorious and terrible to behold. But the wolves began to pursue those sheep till they reached a sea of water. And that sea was divided, and the water stood on this side and on that before their face. And their Lord led them and placed himself between them and the wolves. And as those wolves did not yet see the sheep, they proceeded into the midst of that sea, and the wolves followed the sheep, and those wolves ran after them into the sea. And when they saw Jah of the sheep, they turned to flee before his face. But that sea gathered itself together and became as it had been created, and the water swelled and rose till it covered those wolves. And I saw till all the wolves who pursued those sheep perished and were drowned. Verse 28 through 40, Israel in the desert, the giving of the law, the entrance into Palestine. But the sheep escaped from that water and went forth into a wilderness where there was no water and no grass. And they began to open their eyes and to see. And I saw Jah of the sheep pasturing them and giving them water and grass, and that sheep were going and leading them. And that sheep ascended to the summit of that lofty rock, and Jah of the sheep sent it to them. And after that I saw Jah of the sheep, who stood before them, and his appearance was great and terrible and majestic. And all those sheep saw him and were afraid before his face. And they all feared and trembled because of him. And they cried to that sheep with them, which was amongst them, "We are not able to stand before our Lord, or to behold him." And that sheep which led them again ascended to the summit of that rock. But the sheep began to be blinded and to wander from the way which he had shown them. But that sheep wot not thereof. And Jah of the sheep was wrathful exceedingly against them. And that sheep discovered it, and went down from the summit of the rock, and came to the sheep, and found the greatest part of them blinded and fallen away. And when they saw it, they feared and trembled at its presence, and desired to return to their folds. And that sheep took other sheep with it, and came to those sheep which had fallen away, and began to slay them. And the sheep feared its presence. And thus that sheep brought back those sheep that had fallen away, and they returned to their folds. And I saw in this vision till that sheep became a man, and built a house for Jah of the sheep, and placed all the sheep in that house. And I saw till this sheep which had met that sheep, which led them, fell asleep. And I saw till all the great sheep perished, and little ones arose in their place. And they came to a pasture and approached a stream of water. Then that sheep, their leader, which had become a man, withdrew from them and fell asleep. And all the sheep sought it and cried over it with a great crying. And I saw till they left off crying for that sheep and crossed that stream of water. And there arose the two sheep as leaders in the place of those which had led them and fallen asleep. And I saw till the sheep came to a goodly place and a pleasant and glorious land. And I saw till those sheep were satisfied, and that house stood amongst them in the pleasant land. I think that'll be a good place to leave off. So I'll pick back up tomorrow, or it's already today. It's October 1st, everyone. So I'll leave with that house stood amongst them in the pleasant land. So we can think about the pleasant land. What does that mean to you? Thanks for joining me for this reading of the book of Enoch. We're getting through it. I'll pick back up verse 41 through 50. From the time of the judges till the building of the temple. So that I will pick up there. All right. Thank you, Sean. Peace and blessings. Good night. John, hey there. You said, I know that God, I had to look inward to understand me. We are made in his image. Our soul is in image. Oh, that's nice. Nancy says, the promised land, the new earth. Wow, I like that. Thank you, DK Me. Hey, James Whitkus. Welcome. You're a new name here. Can we give James a warm welcome in the chatmosphere? It's a new name. Welcome, welcome. Hi there, Rebecca Candiano. You're a new name too, Rebecca. Welcome. I enjoyed this. Good. You enjoyed it? Well, come back then, Rebecca. Let's give Rebecca a nice welcome. And I will be back, Rebecca. We're going to get through the book of Enoch. Like I said, we're getting through it pretty well. And if you have another book in the Ethiopian Bible, the books of the Ethiopian Bible, if you would like me to read another after we complete the book of Enoch, let me know. In this books of the Ethiopian Bible, we have Esdras, Tobit, Judith, additions to Esther, Wisdom of Solomon, Sirach, Wisdom of Jesus, son of Sirach, Baruch, Letter of Jeremiah, prayer to Azariah, Susanna, Bel and the Dragon, prayer of Manasseh. You have Maccabees 1 and 2. We're reading the book of Enoch. You have the book of Jubilees, the book of Mequabian 1, 2, and 3, and another addition to Jeremiah. So let me know what you might be interested in me reading after this. Oh, you're a returnee. Good. Well, thanks for the return. Welcome again. Hey, Victoria, blessings and peace to you too. Thank you very much. You enjoyed it too, Wyoming chick? Good. I will continue. It's something about, I now like to read this book when I'm listening to the shofar. There was a point yesterday that it just stopped and it was just too quiet. I don't know. I can't explain it. I really like this sound. And it helps me to read this book because this is a little intimidating to read some of the names, but I've been given some grace where I'm trying to say the words, and please give me, I know you do, but you give me a lot of forbearance there. Tina says Maccabee or Jubilee. I like that. Okay. Yes, that'll be neat. Thank you, Molly. You're so sweet. Love you, sis. And Jamie is saying, let's see, what you're saying? With this current topic that Jen is reading, I would like to take the opportunity to push once again for anyone that likes reggae music to look up Bad Brains, the Meek incredible song, Something Soon. Oh, thank you, Jamie. So it's a song called, what is it called? It's by Bad Brains. Okay, we'll have to look into that. Thank you, though. Nancy says the shofar is such a good background frequency. I think so, too. I just love it. And it helps me to read. So thank you for being. Oh, Girl Code was in the chatmosphere. Hey, Girl Code. Girl Code. Oh, yay. She says, we are slanging that love tonight. Oh, love you, sis. I'm so glad you hung out here. You're here. Look at that. I am Crypto. Hey, how you doing, Kathy from Arizona? Look at that. Oh, Girl Code. Look at that. Oh, a super chat. Thank you. I am grateful. This is the true meaning of a spiritual. Oh, that's right. This is such a beautiful family we have here. And I really love you. Thank you, Girl Code. Love you, sis. Oh, I am Dwayne. Hey, I hadn't seen you in a minute, Dwayne. What's up? Hey, what's up with you? Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm just going back over to see who else was here. Thank you all for joining. This is a late night reading of the book of Enoch, and we are going to complete it soon. Hey, Gemini Love. Hey, Sean. And then came forth the spoon. Sean, you have me laughing so much all the time. Oh, goodness. Love it. Love it. All right. So if I haven't seen your comment, John, hey, hello and much love. Nancy says Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom to you, Nancy. If I've missed you, it is not on purpose. I love you all. And thank you for hanging out for this reading. And I will see you very soon for another one. DK me. Hey there. Hello. All right. With that, have sweet sleep and think about the pleasant land. I think somebody mentioned what the pleasant land Hey, Aurora Nelson. I love that name, Aurora. From Central California. Hello. Nancy says when you blow your shofar, it sends chills through your body. Yeah, I bet. It has something weird. It's amazing. Like I said, Rosie Pie, I think it was her that mentioned when she was listening to the background of the shofars on one live stream, she mentioned that it sounded like whales, and a lot of people agreed that was really astute of our sister Rosie Pie. It sounds like whales. So it's something about it. So being satisfied in the house that stands in the pleasant land. Sounds amazing. All right. So on that note, I will see you all later. James, oh, one more thing you said. A lot of work goes on in our night travels. Oh, really? Wow. That's right. A lot of work. Sweet dreams. Love you all.